and scholarships and a lot of things that you're going to be able to take advantage of. All right, and in reality, I've been doing this for a really, really, really long time. I'm super old now. All right, I've been doing this stuff for over 20 years. I coached college athletics. I was a basketball coach that gave scholarships away for athletics. I know how that world operates. I did that for about a decade. I've been in the admissions office for 18 years. I'm our committee chair, so I make final decisions on whether or not you get in or not. Okay? Even if you're like, I'm not going to Illinois-Springfield, a lot of the schools that you might be considering, because I'm so old, I mentor their counselors that are making your decisions. No matter how impressive you think that school is, many of those, I know the reps, I work with them, I see them all the time, and so understand that what we're covering today will be working for you at all the different options that you could be considering. Okay? And we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about some of these scholarship options as well as financial aid in general. And if we've got time at the end, I'll answer some of your questions that we haven't got to. Now, let's start off real quick with this. Congratulations on getting admitted to college. It's not really that hard. It's not. There's 4,000 schools in the country, and some of them are open enrollment schools. So if you want to go to MCC, you're already in. It's already done. Every single senior at this high school is in. MCC is going to accept you. So I don't want to hear, I hate it when I hear, oh, I didn't have a chance to go to college. Everybody has a chance to go to college. MCC is wide open. There are also really big name schools throughout the country that are literally open enrollment. Just because it's tough to get into the University of Illinois in our state doesn't mean the University ofs in other states are that hard to get into. Some of them are 98% admit rates. And so what you think sometimes is like, oh, this is so impressive that a kid got... People in the business know that like everybody gets in. And so when I bring that up, that doesn't mean that, hey, I don't have the greatest grades. My only option is MCC. There are big-time schools that you can go to and schools all around the country. And I want you to be aware of that as you start. But really, this process, the best way to think of it as a high school student, it's really like a dating process. It is. If you want to go to the homecoming dance, it's not that hard. You just ask people out until somebody tells you yes. This is not a hard thing to do. And some of you are like, nobody from Woodstock's going to go with me. Don't worry about it. There are literally 40 high schools within about 20 minutes of here that you can ask people from too. And then they created this thing called the internet. I mean, there's even more options there. Going to the dance, not hard. You want to know what's hard? Getting your date to pay for you to go to the dance. That's how scholarships work. And so when it comes to college, many of you are here today because getting in, not hard. If a school tells you no, that's on them. I'm going to tell you that right now. Some of you get so discouraged. Who cares? It's their fault. All right? There's a bunch of schools that won't only take you, they'll give you a ton of money. Okay? And we're going to go through how to do that today. How does that work? Because in reality, there's not a better time to go to college than right now when it comes to getting it paid for. There's not. You just have to understand where that money comes from and how to get it. And so let's talk about some of the different options of scholarships, because there are so many different aid packages out there and so many different ways to get scholarships that we're going to run through some of the different ones to kind of give you an idea of how that works. And so first, on our side, what we call institutional scholarships. For you, that's going to be one of the main sources of scholarships you think about. What are institutional scholarships? You apply to the greatest school of all time, Illinois-Springfield, and we give you automatic money based on your high school career. All right? So let's just talk about some of those things. Most schools either have automatic scholarships for everybody that comes in. It's called fake scholarships. It's just to make you feel good. Okay? If everybody who gets in gets $16,000, then their tuition's really $16,000 less than what they have on paper. They're just trying to make everybody feel good. To give you an idea, that's $64,000 over 4 years. You want to know something? That's $24,000 more than the total tuition for 4 years at UIS. Right? You're never going to see that kind of scholarship from us because our tuition's less. But some schools offer that automatically to students that get in. Think of it this way. If you go to the store and you walk up to the register and they're like, oh, you didn't know? Yeah, we're giving everybody 10% off today. You're like, yeah, I feel real good. It makes you feel good, right? Schools do that because they are a business. They're going to make you feel good. Okay? That's automatic. There's other opportunities for automatic scholarships, like at Illinois-Springfield. We have a scholarship grid. Maybe you've seen that on different websites based on what you did high school GPA-wise. Here's how much money you can get. Again, an automatic scholarship for applying. You don't have to put out a new application. It's going to every student like you with a similar GPA. Does that make sense to everybody? And so a lot of schools have some sort of aid like that. Now, we also have scholarships we don't tell you about, some of which are automatic. That's why you need to talk with a person like me at every school that you're interested in. For instance, I'll give you for instance at Illinois-Springfield, we have the top nursing program in the state of Illinois. It's number one, no wait list. I don't know why kids apply to schools with wait lists for nursing. I've never understood it. We have no wait list, top program in the state, top 10 in the nation. All right? And so at Illinois-Springfield, if you apply for nursing and you have an unweighted GPA of 3.25, on your application status page comes up a link automatically that says nursing GPPA application, because all nursing through the U of I system, through UIC on each of our campuses. And GPPA is a UIC term, and that means you're directly admitted to nursing. It comes up automatically. On that application, there's a link to fill out the Memorial Nursing Scholarship. Seems like a good idea. Free money, right? You fill that out. Guess what? If you had a 3.24 GPA, you don't even know it's there. It doesn't pop up. It's automatic. You can't see that on our website. It's not published. All right? And if it is, you're going to have to search like a bunch of pages. You're probably never going to get there. Why do I bring that up? Because we also have scholarships that are quote-unquote automatic, but we don't allow you to know that initially. We want you to feel good about it as you go through the buying process or your decision process. If you're not talking with a person like me at that school, you might not know how close you are to certain amounts. And sometimes you decide, hey, I'm going to get really serious with one or two schools, and it's February or March of your senior year, and you can't affect your GPA at that point. It's too late. I gave that example a few years ago at a financial aid night at a school just like yours. The kid was going to a Big Ten school and graduated high school with a 3.496 GPA. That was their GPA. Because they did not have a 3.5, they had to pay $4,000 more a year, $16,000 over 4 years to go to the school they decided to go to. Colleges don't round. 3.496 is what it had on your transcript. That's your GPA, right? Well, because that kid got B minuses and C pluses in PE because they refused to dress every day, they're now paying $16,000 more for college. All they had to do was walk around a track in PE class, and they got $16,000. But they didn't know that early enough to make that change. That's why researching and understanding at the different schools. And just because we have one scholarship bracket, another school might have different numbers. And so I might tell you, hey, yeah, with your GPA, like you're kind of locked into a certain range. Another school, you might be an A versus an A minus away from getting additional money. So make sure that you know what that is now at whatever schools that you're considering. Does that make sense? And I know your high school hosts colleges in here. There's college fairs in the area. There are emails that you can email us on. All right? As this process goes through, make sure you're taking advantage of that. The last side of institutional scholarships are our institutional scholarship applications. These are typically scholarships that a donor, and what's a donor? A rich person who gave us money, that wants to give a scholarship out for. Okay? Now, some of these have really specific things because the person who donated the money said, I want it to go to a student who wants this, or all these different things. Or I want a student, there are scholarships as simple as, hey, I want a student from McHenry County that's going to UIS that wants to major in XYZ. Because that's what the person who did the scholarship wants. And so some schools do it automatically. You're automatically in those. Some schools, you have to apply separately. we make you apply separately. Why? Because I want to see if you're interested enough to apply. I don't want to give money out to a kid who's not interested. I mean, applying for this isn't that hard. You just copy and paste, Control-C, Control-V, the essay that you wrote in the application. Just copy it. You might need a letter of recommendation. You probably requested those through school links, and we'll get to that in a second. You're on Google, you start typing your name, and your name pops up, and you click on it, and it autofills half the application for you. Like, filling out this application is just answering a couple multiple choice questions in most cases. Here's the thing. About 15 to 20% of the kids that actually apply for admission at UIS apply for this. So we've just limited the field by 3 out of every 20. That gives you a much better chance of winning that money. That's why we have that application. Does that make sense? So that's why you want to do that. Your job between now and the end of this year, at whatever school you want to go to, is to make sure the person like me at that school knows you want to go there. You might have heard of a term before called demonstrated interest. That's what I'm talking about. You probably don't know this, but I'm just going to out every school in the nation. You do realize that every email that you receive from a college, we know everything you've ever done with that email. Everything. Did you open it? How many times did you open it? What time did you open it? Where were you when you opened it? What device did you use to open it? Did you click on a web link? How long did you spend on our website after you clicked the web link? Oh, we have an application status page. I can see how many times you've logged into there and on the exact dates. Our financial aid, when it comes out. Yes, 57.6% of students who clicked and viewed their financial aid at UIS last year enrolled. That should probably tell you something. Our financial aid is pretty good. Because it didn't matter what you looked like, where you were from, how much money your parents had, what your high school GPA was. Just across the board, 57.6% of students at UIS who viewed their financial aid letter online ended up enrolled. That's 6 out of every 10. Right? Guys, we can see all of that information. That tells us how interested you are. I mean, if you're talking with me right now and then from November to February you don't open an email, what did you tell me? You want to break up with my school, you just don't have the guts to tell me. That's what you're telling me, right? On a dating process. So why would I give you more money? That would be stupid. Because I would give them money, and then guess what? You wouldn't even look at the email. $3,000 scholarship, you're not even clicking the email. All right? Make sure you're showing interest, because who do you think are on these committees at the schools? People like me. Who do you think we give the money to? The kids we like. Who are the kids we like? The kids that answer their phone occasionally, saw us, got out of class to see us in the counseling office, the ones who visited campus and said hi to us, the ones that are consistently, looking at emails and getting back to us. That's your job. If you do that, you will probably pay less to go to whatever school you go to. Most of you will not do that. Most of you apply, maybe occasionally get back to us. We won't know you any different than any other kid here at this high school. Okay? Make sure that you're doing that. Because that's one of the biggest misses that students have. Because in reality, that's the number 2 predictor of whether or not you'll graduate from the school you go to. Number 1 is GPA. Number 2 is how interested you are in going there. You can fake it. Literally fake it. And you should probably be dating 5 to 10 schools right now, like they're all your number 1, so that that school understands you're interested. Okay? That's what I would tell you to be doing if you want to increase the possibility of scholarships. Because in the end of the day, guys, I can't go to financial aid for every single student I'm recruiting and ask for more money. Hey, I really like this kid. Because then what's financial aid going to do? They're going to get sick of seeing my emails. If I do it occasionally for students that I really like, they tend to work with me. That's your job. Okay? So that's what I mean with institutional aid. Okay? On the scholarship side. The other big part of the institution side is the FAFSA. And I know that you guys are going to have a separate thing on that. Everybody know what I mean when I say FAFSA. If If you don't, it's your free application for federal student aid. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you have the alternative aid form in the state of Illinois. Okay? Every single student can fill one of those out. If you do not fill one of those out, you are telling the school you don't care about money. Your family has enough to pay for it. We see middle-class families do this all the time. If you don't fill it out, you have told me money's not an issue. If I get admitted and I want to go there, my family can pay. If you fill it out, even if you make millions of dollars, at least we know that finances are important. Because many of these institutional scholarships will not give you money if you didn't fill out the FAFSA. I'll give you another thing. At Illinois-Springfield, there's a couple different grants that you can get. I'm going to outline them real quick for you. The MAP grant. It is a program in the state of Illinois for Illinois high school students who attend Illinois universities, not just University of Illinois. All right, that would be sweet. But we're talking about all colleges and universities in Illinois, including MCC. If your family has a certain income threshold, you can get this money. It's $8,400 a year, $8,400. All right, almost $34,000 over 4 years of school. Now, if you get that grant at Illinois-Springfield, we have a promise program. Now, I'm just going to out everybody real quick. Promise does not mean the same thing at every school. Promise is a governmental term that makes our politicians happy. All right, that's all it is. Promise just means, hey, somehow the school is going to get tuition and fees covered for you. What makes it different at Illinois-Springfield is total tuition and fees might be about $12,000 or $13,000. Let's just say $13,000. So there's still a gap of about $4,600. Well, at Illinois-Springfield, we will use university funding to cover that, and we'll save your Pell Grant, which is a federal grant offered by the federal government for anybody who fills out the FAFSA who qualifies to go anywhere. So you could be in here and go to University of Wisconsin, Whitewater, let's say. Now, you can't get the MAP grant going there, but you could get the Pell Grant. The Pell Grant is designed for housing and food, so we allow you to save that for housing and food. Every other public school in the state of Illinois uses your Pell Grant to cover your promise, tuition and fees. So our money stretches farther. Some of you might go, man, my family makes too much money. Well, we are, that I know of right now, the only school that offers really a middle-class scholarship in the state. So if your family of 4 makes less than $229,000 in income a year, we have additional money if there's still a gap in your tuition and fees. A family of 6, $299,000 of income. So we are catching a majority of what is considered the middle class with additional money. That's why you fill out that FAFSA for some of those other programs like that. So that's all institutional-based money, and so that's going to be one of the biggest sources of funding for scholarships for you. But that's not going to help you pay for everything. So let's talk about the next way. One of those is what I call local scholarships. Local scholarships are going to be on your school link account here at Woodstock High School. Those are typically businesses or rich people from the Woodstock area who have donated money to help students from your district, as well as maybe Marion, pay for college. Okay? Couple things you need to know. One, I love the fact that in Woodstock, they don't have one application for all the scholarships, because then too many lazy kids are going to be able to get more money. Getting money for scholarships typically comes down to this one thing: don't be lazy. You can still be pretty lazy. I'll teach you how to do that, but you can't be completely lazy. Here's why. I know for a fact that last year, kids got money in your district simply because they applied and there weren't enough applicants for the scholarship that they gave it to every single kid for that scholarship who actually applied. That's in all of Woodstock. Not just you guys, but North, Marion, and maybe anybody else that might be a part of that. All right? They had so few applications from seniors at your high school that they just gave it to everybody, regardless of the GPA. But you want to know why that happens? Because most of your classmates were lazy and didn't apply. I mean, I'm here talking about scholarships today. I know this isn't the full senior class, because otherwise the football team's only got like 4 people on it. Right? Like, I know there are more people. than just this room. So, what does that mean? That means you need to apply for these scholarships. And I know they're going to go through how to do that, but I would tell you applying for one a week. How do you do that, first off? Well, you probably are going to be writing a college essay. Many times in your English class, or if you're doing Common App, you have a college essay. Here's all you have to do. Control-C, Control-V, just copy and paste that thing. Why would you rewrite it? That's a lot of wasted time. Just copy and paste it in. You already did a really good essay. Just use it. Letters of recommendation. Well, you can request those on school links. I mean, all you got to probably type in is a professor's name or a teacher's name or their email. Pretty tough job. Might take you 25 seconds, but most of your classmates will never do that. So we've copy and pasted something, and we spent 25 seconds typing a professor's name. Then, if you're on Google, you start typing and like your name comes up and you just autofill the application and you're literally just typing in and adding some stuff. I mean, it's NFL football season. During the commercial breaks, you can apply for a scholarship. It shouldn't take you that long. All right? But most of you won't do it. Here's how to think of these scholarships. If your dream date walked through one of those doors in the background, if you don't talk to them, they're not going on a date with you. If you ask them out and they say no, what in your life just changed? Nothing. You weren't dating them anyways. But if you ask them out and they say yes, they might pay for the date for you. That's how scholarships work. But I guarantee you, 95% of you are scared to ask the person out. How do I know? Because last year Woodstock gave money out to anybody who applied for some of those scholarships. So that means majority of the seniors in this district were just scared to ask people out. All right? And so that's the way to think of these scholarships. And here's the thing that you guys don't realize. The committees for these scholarships, they're typically like the same group of people. And your principals and the higher-ups talk to this same group of people, and they're like, I get really tired of hearing from the same parents why the same 8 kids get all the scholarships. So try to spread this money around. You want to know how I know that? I've been in that room before for a high school, and the principal said that. Spread the money around. Oh, we can do that. That's pretty easy, right? Now, what they don't tell the parents is the reason that only 8 kids got scholarships is everybody else is lazy. But they don't want to tell the parent that their kid's just really lazy and didn't do the work. So, they think of a different excuse. But I'll be real. They're lazy. And so if you do the stuff and you apply for these scholarships, the committee members probably already know who you are. They're people from this community. Many times, probably teachers or counselors or people in the building. And they're like, hey, yeah, oh, yep. It's almost like Oprah. You get a scholarship, you get a scholarship, you get a scholarship, you get a scholarship, you get a scholarship. They want to spread it around. But they can only give it to the kids who met the deadlines. If you don't meet the deadlines, you're not going to get the money. Right? Here's the other thing to think about. If there's a scholarship, and I haven't looked at yours specifically, but let's just say there's one for somebody who wants to go into environmental science or environmental studies or environmental biology. Let's say there's 250 seniors at Woodstock. If you're lucky, 30 of them will fill out any of the applications. Okay? I mean, I was at a Rockford school last year, and I think the number was 7 out of 300 applied for local scholarships. So I'm giving you guys a lot of credit. That's 400% more than the Rockford school, right? 30 kids. Well, we just took down the amount of kids from 250 to 30. What is the chance that one of those 30 might not be interested in environmental stuff? Probably decently high. So this scholarship's just going to have to give it to anybody who applies, but most of you won't apply. I mean, I'll give you a great for instance of this. The women of Elgin, about 7 years ago now, gave their scholarship to a dude. Rule 1 was be female. 0 females from the city of Elgin applied for the scholarship. Rule 2, be from Elgin. 0 people from Elgin applied for the scholarship. It literally went to a kid who was trying to show up their teacher because they forced them to do scholarships. And he filled it out. I don't even know if the kid had a 2.0 GPA. Filled it out, won the scholarship because he was the only kid to apply for the Women of Elgin scholarship. Okay? That's Elgin. That's a much bigger city than Woodstock. All right? And that's just one example. This happens all the time. I know a couple years ago, MCC's scholarship people told me that 30% of their scholarship budget that year went unapplied for. 30%, that's MCC, that's your local community college. 30% went unapplied, unclaimed, whatever you want to call it. And so make sure that you're applying and try to just do one a week. If you're not a U.S. citizen, I'd probably say 2 a week. And I would apply not just for the ones designed for that, apply for everything. Because in reality, the other scholarships don't care about your citizenship. Make somebody take something away from you. I mean, some of you are like, but I'm not going to major in that. That's great. All right, so we'll take U5 and we'll take U3 and U2. The averages will tell me that 8 out of 10 of you will change majors on average 3 times in college. That means only 2 of you will actually get the degree you think you're going to get right now. 8 of you are going to change. Multiple times. Dude, the scholarship you applied for won't realize that in a year you're not even in that major. And I'm not telling you to lie about what you want to study, but understand that apply for these things. What's the worst they can tell you? No. Right? And so take advantage of that situation and take advantage of the fact that your friends here at this school are not applying. I can't say this enough. Take advantage of that. All right? Now, in the last one, I know you said that some are posted now. Those are typically nationwide scholarships. Those are a little bit tougher to win because the committee doesn't know you, right? Those are really an essay contest. So if you're a really good writer or you're really good in something, yeah, you can go for it. I mean, I'll give you, for instance, a few years ago, I was at a school, young lady who was one of the top figure skaters in the United States. She did not make the Olympic team. I think that was Gracie Gold's year, and I know Gracie was from this area. But she was like, I'm in the top 10 if I'm not in the top 8. But the Olympic takes 3 or so, and she wasn't there, but she was in the next group. And there was this big figure skating scholarship. And so we're talking, and I'm trying to help her, and I'm telling you, this is big money, like 60 grand. And I'm like, all right, so let's just be real here. This committee knows you, and those Olympic kids might not be going to college because they're probably professionals and making, this is when they got to make their money. Like this, you got a short time in life where you can make that money. You're only competing against 2 or 3 people. As long as you apply and your essay is well written, you got a really, really good shot at this scholarship. Yeah, spend some time and do that really well. But I mean, and there's scholarships for everything, like being left-handed or being short or being tall or being eyeglass. I mean, you can find it. Now, I know you asked, how can I tell if it's real or not? Yeah, if there's any type of money or you got to put in credit, don't do it. They're just scamming you. But there's a lot of free stuff, and the stuff posted on your guys' websites, as well as the stuff posted on our websites. We list some national scholarship search databases that we believe in. Those are stuff that I would tell you to look at. But understand, you're not competing locally where people know you. You're competing nationally. So it's really an essay contest. And I think somebody's coming in to talk to you guys about how to write college essays. So we'll let them teach you how to do that. Okay? That's 2. 3. All right, back to the lazy side. If you want to go to college, get a job. Most of the jobs that pay for high school students give you money. See, this crazy thing happened a few years ago called COVID, and now high school kids don't want to work anymore. So all these places that have fast food, maybe serve food, or are some nationwide chain businesses, they don't have anybody working there. So they have to offer benefits. One of the benefits is tuition assistance. I think McDonald's right now pays $2,500 a year, $10,000 over 4 years of college if you work at McDonald's. Seems pretty obvious. It's automatic. I mean, I have kids all the time oh, man, I need an extra $3,000. It's May. I'm like, all right, well, are you working anywhere? Nope. I'm like, oh, this is sweet. All right, go get a job, man. Here's 20 places that I know give automatic scholarships. Oh, I don't want to do food service. Okay, then you can pay an extra $2,500 a year. Why should us as a school help you out when I'm literally helping you out? I was like, hey, and we visit these establishments, so sometimes we're like, hey, dude, they were literally interviewing a kid when we sat there for lunch a couple days ago. You know, Chipotle does it. I'm sure Wendy's has one. I know McDonald's does. I know Walmart's got free money. And if the business doesn't offer one, just create your own. If you're getting paid $20 an hour, just take $2 or $3 every hour and create your own scholarship. And make $17 an hour. Okay? But understand right now that there are so many businesses that need help. I mean, if you work at McDonald's, for instance, and you want to go to Illinois-Springfield, you're like, oh, what am I going to do? You just transfer your job. There's 12 McDonald's in Springfield. I mean, Springfield's 120,000 people. I mean, every business you could probably imagine in the Woodstock area that you could work at, that's like nationwide, we have multiple of in town. You just transfer. And then you come back and you transfer your job back when you're in break. And then you come back down to campus. Now, that leads me to this, because this is something that students ask about. Let's talk about financial aid offer letters real quick. All right, scholarships and grants. To you, they're the exact same thing. It's free money, you don't have to pay back. Okay? Scholarships, grants, free money, you don't have to pay back. So when you get those financial aid offers, you take the bottom number that they tell you it costs to go to college, and you minus the free money. Now, what are grants? Typically university given money or federal or government given money to help you out based on gaps in finances. Scholarships, a reward for you based on a lot of different things. But for you, same thing, free money, whatever. The second thing I would look at is the loans, because it's kind of like free money. We give it to you, you do have to pay it back. If you have to pay it back, it's going to cost you more than what initially is, but it's quote-unquote free money. You get it right away. Okay? Now, understand that private loans are something that families sometimes look at. I'm not a huge believer in those. All right? If you're having to take out a private loan, that college might be too expensive for you. All right? There's a lot of options that are probably going to be cheaper. I'm not saying don't do it, but all those stories you read about in the paper, like, oh, I had $120,000 of loan in college. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't feel bad for that person. It's their own fault. They could have went to like 3,000 schools for really cheap, but they had to go to one school, and that's what it costs. Just like if you want to pay $2,000 for the new iPhone. That's cool. I own Apple stock. You can help me make more money. It's really cool, right? But it's going to cost money. There's no coupons for the brand new iPhone when it comes out. You're paying full price. There are colleges like that. There's a lot of colleges that offer a lot of money. And so making sure you're making that right financial fit. Okay? And then finally, work study. Work study is fake money. Fake money on your award letter. It makes you feel good, but it's fake. You actually have to get a job. You actually have to earn it. Fake money. Okay? And so understand that when you look at those financial aid, the mom's like, oh yeah, you got work study money. Well, that's fake, Mom. I have to earn that money to go to school. And right now, work study is not your best play. Your best play is McDonald's, who pays you just like work study, and then they give you additional scholarship money on top of it. Okay? And that comes from somebody who wants kids to work for us because we need tour guides. I'm trying to help you out. Okay? Now, a couple other sources of money. One, where your parents work. Many times they have scholarships set aside for kids of employees. That's going to narrow the amount of students that could possibly be applying for those. So a lot of times you have a really good shot. I think, what did you say about the district?
Yeah, District 200, if your parent is a certified teacher in the district, any grade level, there's a scholarship for graduating seniors that you can apply to. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's just one example, but a lot of your parents might work at companies that offer free tuition or tuition scholarships to family members. Okay? If your parents served in the military, there's aid programs there. For instance, at Illinois-Springfield, as well as all of the U of I campuses, which include Chicago and Urbana-Champaign, we have a tuition waiver for children of a veteran. And it's one kid from each county in the state per war period gets that. That's, I don't know, a lot of counties, times by war periods. Like, that's a lot of kids going to U of I campuses for free. And so, like, that's something to share with colleges, because there might be programs like that. But make sure that you're talking with your parents and looking up those benefits. The other thing is, if you're working right now, please go online and check what your benefits are. Many of you probably don't realize that you can make like 5% extra if you just start a retirement account. Like they'll literally pay you 5%. You get a free raise, but you got to do it. Or they've got like other bonuses. Probably last year I told 100 of the kids I was recruiting, and I actually looked up their employee benefits, and I'm like, dude, you realize you get free college scholarship money? And they had no idea. So make sure that you're doing that if you've got a job right now to see what you might be missing out on. Okay? All right. Couple other things real quick. Number one, MCC, an amazing option. But I hear way too often from kids, my classes didn't transfer or whatever. That's bogus. Let me tell you what. The advisors at these community colleges like MCC are amazing. But think of it in a route that you guys will make sense. It's like ChatGPT. ChatGPT is only as good as the information I put in. If I don't put in the right information, I don't get the right output. So if I go to MCC and I go, I'm going to get my generals done, that is the kiss of death to you wasting $60,000 to $100,000. And I'll prove it to you. Typically you go there, and let's just say you went there and you're like, I'm going to go to Northern Illinois, amazing choice for, I don't know, criminology or something. Your counselor goes, okay, cool, because that's the input. That's what you put into ChatGPT. Here's what you got to do. And you get your math, and you get your gen eds done, and boom, here's your associates, and you transfer, and you're like, you know what, I don't want to do criminology anymore, because 8 out of 10 kids will change majors. I want to do business. Shoot, you transfer, and the school's like, oh, you didn't take the right math class. You got to take another math class. Oh, did you take micro and macroeconomics? No, I took other classes that counted for social sciences. Well, your input to your advisor didn't tell them that you might need those classes. So when you sit down with them, you need to create what I call a spider web. You need to say, hey, I'm looking at these 4 or 5 schools. So, hey, I'm looking at maybe Northern, Aurora, UW-Whitewater, Illinois-Springfield. 4 distinctly different campuses, privates, publics, and out of state. And hey, I'm looking at, I don't know, criminology, but I also have an interest in business or maybe teaching. Now, everything you do there will work for all of those degrees. If you do that, now you're going to save money. But most kids don't do that. All right? Most kids don't do that. And so they're like, my class didn't transfer. No, you gave bad information to ChatGPT, and that was your answer. They did what you told them. You didn't provide the correct information. Okay? And so make sure if your plan is MCC, you are doing more work now than your classmates. You have to know where you're going after MCC. Because if you transfer to a 4-year school and you change majors, we're still going to get you out in 4 years. That's our goal. MCC is awesome, but their goal is to get you an associate's and help you transfer. And so understand what's going on there, and please have a plan. Do not tell me I'm getting my generals done there, because I'm like, oh, you're wasting money. Here's how I get there. An extra year of college is like 20 to 60 grand. And guess what? Instead of working, you're in college, so you're not earning anything. Let's just say 40 to 60. That gets you to 60 to 100,000. That's a waste of money. You just threw that away. And that might be on the low end now. It might actually be 80 to like 140,000, with wages going up and college costs going up. Okay? The other thing is, colleges give more money to freshmen. Better investment. All right? I want you walking around in my sweatshirts. I want you to be a walking billboard for me. I want you to tell family and friends where you're going. Because here's the thing, once you go to MCC, nobody talks about that anymore. Just your little network finds out where you're going. In high school, everybody knows. There's value to that. All right? And so colleges give more money for that. And so that's why for some of you, going straight to a 4-year might be your least expensive option. Like I said, 57.6% of kids who looked at our financial aid went to UIS. And so, that's a high number. But for some of you, Going to MCC will save you money, but for some of you it won't. And at this point, nobody knows. Every one of you in this room should probably be applying to MCC as a safety option. But there's also some really good opportunities elsewhere. All right, if you're wanting to leave town for college, if that's what you need. Last thing I'm going to tell you, have some fun with this and lower the stress level. I don't know why you guys get so stressed out about this. You're all going to college. We all have really rich alumni that make millions of dollars a year. We all have that. All right? What I want you to concentrate on is find the right place for you to be successful. Some of you, this is the right place, and you're thriving at Woodstock High School, and some of you could go anywhere else in the country and you'd be better. All right? But you don't have that choice. Your parents lived you here. They drew a box around your house and said, this is where you go to school. And you're like, no, I want to go to McHenry. Can't do it. Oh, you want to go to North? Can't do that either. Your mom or dad lived you in a box, and this is where they said you had to go. I mean, you could go to Marion, but obviously you don't want to do that, or you'd be there, right? So, college gives you 4,000 different options for you to do that. And so have some fun. Look at them. Visit them. All right? And figure out what's going to allow you to have the most success. All right? Thank you guys so much. I've got pamphlets up here. I've got information cards. I am going to come back later in October and do an application workshop where we'll waive fees and I can help you out with all of that if Illinois-Springfield might be a good fit for you. But thanks so much. Thank you.